Hi guys. Quick video on Lanier in the ARCA car for week 3. Tough little track, mentally demanding because we really have the car at the limit almost the entire lap. There's no real straightaway, nothing to stretch our hands, nothing to stretch our legs. Yeah, I don't know if it'll make for great racing. I think it'll be tough to pass, but it makes a really fun track to lap, so at the very least. I am in 117 Fahrenheit track at 2 o'clock instant time and 50% track state. My best lap was a 14.457. This is not a qualifying lap, so you definitely want to come off the top, this would be a best race lap. You'll want to, open up turn 4 a lot more, come off the top for a qualifying lap, as well as get the tires in a proper temp state. So there's probably another tenth, maybe 10th and a half in there somewhere. Regardless, here is the 14.457, and really, we're almost, you'll have to find what you can get away with and how close you want to get to the wall, because the more we get to the wall, the more we're turning in, and just because the way the banking dips in, you can kind of see it almost drops, like there's almost a crest just where the banking is. You can see in the wall here, there's almost like a crest on both going into 1 and 3, and when we are on throttle turning in, we can get the rear really light. So we want to open this up as much as we're comfortable with, but we want to be still fairly aggressive with our throttle, and our turn in can be as smooth as we can get it, while just opening this up. So inputs here, smoothest really helps a lot, and you will be burning more right rear unless you really drive tight, unless you really burn up your right front. So just keep in mind, the less sliding you can do, especially coming on the straightaways here, the better probably. If you can save that, we don't need to save tire, but you could think of it, we don't want to abuse that right rear. So yeah, coming into 1, see, even here, like I'm at full throttle, but the rear is light and moving around at me, and I'm turning in pretty much right after I cross the start finish line, and braking soon after that. So maybe we could use the this Arctic cat sign, whatever you want to use as a reference, even if it's just a feel thing, because we just crossed our finish line, we don't need to plan too ahead. I'm going a little bit shallow here. I think this is the best for me, just so I can brake a little bit more straight. So, a little bit under this dark track patch where the rubber's laid down worked better for me. And coming down, we want to get all the way to the yellow. I'm still trail braking here, pretty light, but we need to do that, otherwise the front will wash and we will scrub that right front too much. So I actually trail brake a little bit more because I'm not comfortable with the rotation. And about here at mid corner, this is when I want to pick back up throttle. Not 100% at first, sticking at 75 until I feel the rear is where I want, and the car is pointed. And you can see I'm just counterswing a tiny bit here. That's okay. Yeah, pointing it up, where I want the car to be. And like I said, you'll have to play with exactly where you want. If you want your right rear right on the fence, if you kind of want to straddle this white line, it depends on how comfortable you are in entry. I even had to back out a tiny bit there. So, but because we're turning in here and you can see that dip that I was talking about, we just need to be careful with how much we come up to this fence and how aggressive our turn in is while we're still on the throttle, because the rear can get really light. We can spin the car. See, I'm turning kind of early, and you can see right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And this time I get on the brakes, shift weight forward. The rear's already pretty light. You can see the yaw of the car is actually moving quite a bit. And right when I touch the brakes, I go over this crest, the rear's light, and I need to counter steer a little bit, a fair amount. So definitely lost a little bit of time here. So even though this was my best lap, there was probably more in it. But I get the car settled down, and I'm braking again. Again, a little bit shallower, and that works for me. All the way down to the yellow dotted, or dashed, and back on throttle when I'm comfortable. And then again, I'm just going to get the car pointed to where I'm comfortable with as straight as I can get it, and keeping throttle early. Gonna have to back up a tiny bit. Not ideal. I would have liked to keep my foot in it, but so this time I actually straddle the white line a little bit. It's not quite at the fence, so. But that's a hot lap. I just want to quick go over a later lap when the tires are real worn. Everything's pretty similar. It's just that I'm a little bit. You can see that I'm a little bit more focused on getting the car straighter, particularly at exit. This is partly because I happen to drive off the right rear, so I'm wearing that a little bit more. But you'll see I'm a little bit more patient with how I'm getting on throttle. So maybe it was 75, now it's 60. You know, and I'm just a little bit tighter down to the bottom. I'm just trying to be patient, get the car a little bit more straight before I get all the way on power. See, I'm a little bit, maybe where I was pointed, just 5 degrees, and I'm rotating a little bit throttle. Now I'm a little bit just trying to straighten the car a little bit more, keeping the straightaway a little bit more open. See, I kind of straddle that top dash line here. Do the same into 3, and yeah, similar lines for me here. I'm kind of feeling everything out, and yeah, just kind of resist the urge to rotate the car too much on throttle. Just do it where it's comfortable. It's helping the car be free and fast. We just don't want to see, like, this is a perfect example of probably overusing the right rear. When I am just sliding the car on full throttle, this is too much. So maybe, if I had the wheel a little bit straighter, that'd be fine. This is probably just, if you do that every lap, I think you're gonna use up too much your right rear too fast for little gain. So, but that's a couple laps, and hope you guys have a good week at Lanier and get some good results.